Hey everyone, welcome to DARPin Dialogue. During COVID-19, there has been a spike in race-related incidents targeting the Asian community in the Lower Mainland. The issue came to the limelight once again when Canadian singer Bryan Adams posted a tweet that garnered a lot of attention as he expressed his frustration about his concerts being cancelled due to the COVID-19 lockdown. While local MLA for North Vancouver Lonsdale, Bowinn Ma, found the tweet extremely offensive and shared a video message which is being widely talked about.
So here's the thing about racism. Racism, including anti-Asian racism, didn't suddenly appear with COVID-19. We've been battling racism in British Columbia, in Canada, and across the entire world for a very, very long time. And we are all a part of this battle because bias, prejudice, ignorance, these don't merely exist within people who we believe are bad people. They exist to some extent within all of us. And our responsibility in this battle is to recognize that we are imperfect as human beings. And so we need to check ourselves to make sure that our internal biases aren't negatively impacting the way that we think of or treat other people.
We spoke to Bowinn Ma. Here she is.
Hi, Bowinn. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So after Bryan Adams, the singer, posted his tweet to social media, it got quite the reaction from you in a video message, and people have been talking about that. What do you have to say to people who say, well, the freedom of speech is there as well, and not so much of a racist comment because he got both praise and criticism?
You know, the importance of prominent people like Bryan Adams in our society can't be underestimated, and the power of that can't be underestimated. And it's important that prominent people with very large platforms, that they recognize how their words impact the people around them. And so it's important for people like Bryan Adams to be able to say and express the things that they want to say in ways that do not encourage racism amongst their followers. So I think it's a responsibility that comes with fame and prominence, and that has to be taken very seriously.
With that said, we live in a multicultural society. Surprised or shocked at all with the race-related incidents that we've seen targeted towards Asians within the Vancouver community?
I'm very, very concerned. I'm disappointed. I'm horrified. And it's unacceptable. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. The reality is racism is something that we have been dealing with in British Columbia, in Canada, and across the entire world for a very, very long time. And that's part of the reason why it's so important that people with large platforms like Bryan Adams, like Donald Trump, like Premier John Horgan, that all people be very careful about how they communicate themselves, because there is racial tension that exists. Bias, prejudice, and discrimination, those are things that all of us are capable of. And we all harbor misunderstandings about people in groups that we don't relate to. I mean, certainly the dialogue needs to happen all of the time, and it especially needs to be raised when we see acts of hate crime happening. Hate crime against one group is really an injury to all of us, not just that group, because when you allow hate crime to thrive, nobody is safe. There's always another group that can be demonized by people who are willing to allow hate crime to exist. I feel like racism is a lot like an iceberg. What we are able to see is only what's risen to the top. In reality, there's so much more going on underneath the surface. The work that Delta North MLA Ravi Kahlon has done with the Attorney General to bring back the Human Rights Commission is exceptionally important when it comes to this topic. And that is work that continues to be underway here in British Columbia.
Any final message to our viewers that you'd like to share?
Yes, I think that it's exceptionally critical that we learn to be able to have a rational discussion about racism without having it devolve into defensiveness, finger pointing, or the idea that racism is something that is only done by people who are bad people. Because we are all capable of bias. We are all capable of prejudice. It exists to some extent within all of us. And so all of us need to be part of that conversation and need to be aware of how our internal biases are manifesting in the way that we treat other people.
Bowinn, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We truly appreciate it.
I really appreciate the time.